Hi, my name is Ethen Ostroff, and I'm a personal injury lawyer right outside of Philadelphia. And thank you so much for joining us for this multiple part series on auto insurance. I know it's not the most sexy subject, but if you saw my last video on UM insurance, this is a part of a series of videos where I'm going to dive deep into the most frequently asked questions because it's my goal to make sure that you never ask the same question twice, because that is my biggest pet peeve, is when I get asked the same questions all the time, because I think it's so unfair the way that auto insurance doesn't explain these things up front. But before we get into the video, make sure to click below and subscribe to my content. I would love for you to be a part of the community where we really are trying to help make sure that you understand your rights before you're in a bad situation, not after you're in a bad situation. So make sure to click that subscribe button, and we're going to dive into what is UIM insurance as opposed to the video we just did, what is UM insurance. So what is UIM insurance? UIM stands for Underinsured Motorist Coverage. The previous example we just talked about was called UM insurance, where if you get hit by an uninsured driver or that other driver does a hit and run and leaves the scene. Well, what about a scenario where you get really hurt, but the other driver has a very small insurance policy? So that situation is covered under this UIM, part of your own insurance policy. Basically, let's say that you get into a car crash in Philadelphia, for example, and the law around this area is a little different every state. But let me try my best to give you the Pennsylvania interpretation of the way this works. Let's say that you get in a car crash, you get rear-ended at a stop sign. You're clearly not at fault for that crash. And let's say you break your arm and you break your leg. Clearly horrible injuries. And let's say that a jury, I'm just making this up on the spot, values your injuries at $100,000. But let's say that that other driver that struck you only has a $15,000 policy, which is the Pennsylvania minimal policy. So in that scenario, they do have something, but it might not even be enough to cover your medical bills. So what do you do in that scenario? You actually have potentially got two separate lawsuits. The first lawsuit, what I would describe as the primary case, you first go after whatever insurance is available from that other driver. So let's say that you call the insurance company. They say, oh my God, Ethen, I'm so sorry about your broken arm, your broken leg. We're going to give you our whole $15,000 policy, feel better. Great, you got $15,000, but let's say that your bills alone are worth $50,000, for example. That $15,000, it makes a little bit of a dent, but it's not enough to even cover for your medical bills potentially. So let's say that a jury values your injuries at $100,000, let's just call it. The first $15,000 of those injuries are covered out of that first lawsuit that you had against the other driver that hit you. Now, second, the other $85,000 would come from your own auto insurance again. So this UIM coverage will pay you for any injuries you sustain that are valued over and above what's available from the third party that hit you. So yes, both a case against that driver that struck you and a case against your own auto insurance will likely happen in this scenario. And that's okay. And just a reminder, it is illegal for your rates to be raised by law if you're not at fault for a crash. You are paying for these benefits every month and are entitled to make a claim for underinsured motorist coverage. So you only are letting that insurance company out who sponsors Patrick Mahomes, who, has the $1 million ads on the Super Bowl. You're letting them out at a discount if you don't make a claim for UIM. So also, a little side note to remember, if you get in a crash and you do get hurt, just note, the other driver's insurance company, it's probably pretty self-explanatory. They're not on your side. But also remember, your own insurance company is trying to lock you into a statement that they can use against you at trial 2 years from now. So don't tell them something you regret. Thanks so much. And remember, click that subscribe button below. I would love for you guys to join my community. We're going to help educate people on things that I wish that you guys would know before you need to know it and before you're in a bad situation where you're underinsured. Don't put yourself in that situation. If you have any questions, reach out to me directly. God forbid you ever get hurt in a crash. I'm here for you. Would be glad to be your attorney. Thanks so much.